talk to me a little bit about the intersection of gospel, kingdom, power, and peace coming into the history of what seems like repeated cycles, hopelessness, a sense of, God, will you ever change this? Because certainly the laws, whether it's liberal or conservative in government, are not bringing about the kinds of change that we should see. Talk to me a little bit about your experience of the gospel breaking into all of these things.
Well, first of all, I'll say, the culture that we live in, the society that we live in, defines issues around race and justice as purely social issues, social justice, a social gospel. And the truth is, this gospel that for which we are stewards and ambassadors of a kingdom that's unshakable, that's beautiful. The truth is, this gospel is about the beauty of Jesus, who redeemed for himself a people out of every tribe, every tongue, and every nation. And it is impossible for us to be a gospel people and not have ultimately, at least not reach to attain the cross-cultural IQ of heaven as it relates to heaven's design and desire and intention for the nations of the earth. And so for me, what I see when I see the groanings in society, when I look at the passage in Romans that talks about creation groaning, as in the pangs of childbirth. And when I even look at the history of the African diaspora, the scattering, the global scattering of African peoples that happened through the transatlantic slave or slave trade. When I look at that, what I see in my kind of inheritance in history is a people who in the pangs of chattel slavery and the groaning of human history found the beauty of God. Like we met Jesus. Jesus met with us as liberator in the midst of our brokenness, in the midst of our pain. And so when I see the groanings in the culture today, I think of the fact that the book of Revelation says the Spirit and the bride say, come. And I see the kind of cultural conditions, the socioeconomic conditions, the geopolitical conditions. When I'm looking at it, I hear the Lord say, what do you see? And what I see is the field being ripe for harvest. I see the groanings that are producing a Maranatha, Holy Spirit come, that may take on an expression that looks radically different than what we would call holy. How can you call throwing Molotov cocktails at buildings, how can you call that the groan? That's exactly what the groan looks like. And it's a groan for a king to come and make wrong things right, that we might reach for a false Messiah, a political Messiah, maybe even a civil rights movement or a civil rights leader to come and make wrong things right. But Jesus is the one who inaugurated the original justice movement in the earth. And so now I have story after story of seeing the manifest power of God, the Shekinah glory of God in the midst of the most intense and crazy environments of civil unrest, as we go with those eyes, knowing that, hey, Jesus wants to be manifest as king in the midst of this situation.